Mike, you had some interesting thoughts on the NBA playoffs you want to get off your chest. The first round was interesting. My team that I had going to the finals, the Spurs, out. Great predictions there. The Hawks have played really well. They're still in. Orlando out. You want to apologize to the Hawks, I think, coming up.
I do want to apologize to the Hawks. That's
gutless
right.
And something else, spineless.
I called them gutless and brainless and soulless.
That's right.
And I want to apologize.
How do you know how their souls are?
You're right, Starkey. You're so right. I want to apologize, not because I expect the Atlanta Hawks to be looking in, but because this is the kind of thing I was guilty of, the kind of thing that I rail about all the time when other people in the media do it, which is putting these labels on teams or athletes and acting like they're permanent and absolute, and that's the way it is and it's never going to change. Mike Bianchi, who is a very shoot-from-the-hip columnist for the Orlando Sentinel, before Game 6 of that series, he said, he wrote this column that was like, don't worry, Orlando, because the Atlanta Hawks are idiots and they'll find a way to screw this up, essentially. And now he looks like an idiot, and I kind of do too. And I regret that because, like I said, it's the kind of thing that I hate when other people do it. I certainly shouldn't be doing it myself. So I'm sorry to all of you fine folks involved with the Atlanta Hawks.
Justin Jamal Crawford, line one for you.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
There's the other series with the Lakers. They lose to New Orleans, but they wound up winning the thing. There's some other ones that there was some drama, good drama on the court, but the teams that you thought were going to win were going to win. Even really in the East, other than that matchup, the Bulls persevered. The Pacers put up a good fight.
Yeah,
the Celtics. If these were 5-game series instead of 7. This might not have been so much drama. Now what's interesting is the Celtics Heat game, I think, is going to still go 7, but the Heat winning game 1 was the way they did it was interesting. If Paul Pierce doesn't get himself thrown out, is that a different story?
Yes.
Mavericks, Lakers last night, what were your take with what you saw from the Mavericks? They were pretty impressive after Portland almost beat them in round 1.
The Mavericks were impressive, and they can be. I was telling somebody, I don't know if I said this on the show or not, but the Mavericks can be a very impressive team to watch because they've got a lot of very skilled basketball players. They run some really nice stuff. I've for years thought that Rick Carlisle is one of the most underrated coaches in that sport, and they run some good stuff. And at the end of the game, the Lakers got carried away with this idea of we've talked about it before, with the closer myth, where they're determined to hand the ball to Kobe Bryant, even if they're not guarding the other people, even if Derek Fisher is nobody in the same neighborhood, and they got carried away with that and ended up losing a game that they must feel like they should have won, and so that looks like it has a chance to be a long series now. It's great stuff, and even if all these game 1s of the second round series now, almost, I think all 4 of them, the teams that the majority would consider the favorite lost game 1. So it looks like it's going to be fun.
Bulls, Lakers, and the
Oklahoma City
loses to Memphis, the 8th seed. Who's the better Gasol right now, Mark or Pau Gasol?
Well, that's actually a pretty good question. I think if Mark didn't have Zach Randolph to play off, he might not be quite as good. But he's a skilled player.
Okay, but Pau's got Kobe to play off. Where have you been?
I mean, as another post guy.
I know what you mean. Yeah, but compliment. And I do agree with you with the Kobe should have been the decoy or kicked it to Derek Fisher, who's hit many, many clutch shots over the years, and they seem to have gotten away from that. It's a long series. It's interesting. I said to you, if Dallas gets through the first round, because it looked like they were really nervous because if they don't beat Portland, here we go again. Great regular season, and they lose in the first round. Now the pressure's off.
Yeah,
we've
seen that, and we've seen that happen in the past, where a team gets through the first round and everything about their whole psyche changes. That happens a lot. So this is going to be a wild ride, and we're not even halfway through it yet.